What's good, everybody? Dustin Tibbetts, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth, here to join you for the market update. We need a name for this show, by the way. Maybe someone can name the show for me. What's the market update going to be called? Something cool now. And how about if you give me a good name and I choose the name, we'll send you a cup and a shirt and maybe a towel as well. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think about naming the show. If you're checking us out for the first time, we're financial advisors that specialize in managing our own investments for you. We have our own funds, so we don't charge, of course, like mutual funds do. So we actually take care of all the investing, all the financial advice, everything you need as 100% complete fiduciary. So I hope you'll check us out at jazzwealth.com. Well, let's talk about the markets today because, whoa, a little bit of a pullback there, right? We're going to go over to the charts and start taking a look here. Let me see. How do we get it up on a screen? Yeah, look at me go. So here's the Dow. We got the Dow on the day lower by 219. The S&P lost 19, and the Nasdaq was down 42. Here's the Dow on the screen. We talked about this yesterday. If you're a technical trader and you see the markets breathing in like they did over the last few days, you fully expect a day where they exhale, maybe even a few days where they exhale and pull back. Just happens to coincide with some news that we talked about in our market update yesterday. The market was already responding to the news of the new tariffs there. We've got a 10% tariff, another $200 billion in Chinese goods. Kind of a joke what they're putting tariffs on. They are intentionally hand-picking these things so it has the smallest impact on the U.S. consumer. We'll see, right? We'll see how it goes. President Trump, of course, overseas visiting over there. So the potential for news volatility still there. You got to expect that if you're a short-term trader. You kind of like this sort of stuff, right? Typical summer slow, nothing going on. Not this summer. We got a pretty active stock market so far. Here's the S&P on the screen. Also, you can see nice little inhale of the markets. You fully expect an exhale. That's what's been happening all the way going back till April. If you take a look there, it's the normal ebb and flow of the market. If these candlesticks on the charts, these blips don't mean anything to you, be sure to check it out. If you're one of our customers, we did a class on candlesticks. We're going to do more actually so that you know what on earth all of this stuff is. We'll make it a little cleaner and clearer for you. If we go over to energy, start to take a look at the different sectors of the market. You had energy down on the day. Give me a second, actually. Let me go look at the individual sectors. What was your worst performer today? I believe it was energy. Yeah, energy, your worst performing sector. If you use an ETF to track that, usually XLE is the most popular one. But energy down today because of the price of oil. Oil had its worst day in over a year. Very, very common, right? We've talked about this in our candlestick class where you have an over push to the upside. How the market responds to that, it can either respond by moving sideways, as we've shown in a few stocks, or investors take their profits. You see some news that causes a little sell-off, and so of course that pulls it back towards that green line, which is the 20-day moving average. All stocks, all commodities, all bitcoins, anything you track always likes to be close to that 20-day moving average, so something you might want to pay attention to. You had a ton of news with energy and oil. The output issues in Lybia that we talked about 2 weeks ago, those have been resolved, so that's new supply coming to the market. Saudi Arabia had a larger than expected output. I don't know if it was larger than expected for them, but surely larger than expected for the rest of the world, so more supply coming to the market. What does that mean? Lower prices. Very, very common. Now, a little different story when you look at airline stocks, because airline stocks came out and said the higher cost of fuel, you know, not counting today, was actually costing them quite a bit. American Airlines actually came out, I believe they lowered their revenue guidance. What did American Airlines do? They lowered their revenue outlook for the year, which pulled all the other airlines lower. They also cited the higher oil costs. So you got Delta down on the day, Southwest Airlines down a little bit, not a big deal. American Airlines took the biggest hit. That's down about 40% from the highs. So if you're a discount investor, how's 40% sound? You think American Airlines is a buy here, or would you wait for a little bit more to the downside? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to see what you guys are doing as the short-term trade. Your best performer, I believe, was Fastenal. That was up 10% on the day. They reported earnings much better than expected. Revenue came in better than expected, and the shares are now higher. Well, they're at their highest point in about 3 months, so really, really quick recovery there for Fastenal. Really cool to kind of see that happen. TripAdvisor, you're familiar with the website. That stock broke out to new high, not broke out. The stock pushed to new highs today, added about 2% on the day. The company was upgraded by Barclays? I think it was Barclays. They upgraded the stock. Whoever it was, they said that the now that the fundamentals have turned around for the company, it allowed them to take more advantage of their, what they call it, their competitive position. And so basically when they say that, that's fancy words for saying now that the company's doing a little bit better cash-wise, that should help them deploy that cash, put it to work to get more business. And so that's what investors are focusing on. I was focusing on the fact that the stock is up 60% on the year already. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You might want to look at that one. Spotify, recent IPO here. It came out in April. You can see it on the charts there. Spotify, a lot of trouble going sideways there. Very typical for real high-profile IPOs. Well, that broke out to new highs today. Nomura, the company, said that basically it was kind of a silly upgrade. They put a buy rating on the stock, and they said the main reason for the upgrade was that the stock was underappreciated. So if that's the case, then I should tell my wife, because maybe I have a buy rating. You know, sometimes I feel underappreciated. Just saying, if you're listening. Pfizer, the stock was basically flat on the day. They actually, remember 2 days ago, Trump tweeted that they were charging too much, ripping the Americans off. Pfizer came back and said, actually, our prices are pretty much the same. They've actually gone lower in some cases. Well, there was a phone call that took place between the CEO and Donald Trump. And Pfizer came out today and they said, you know what, we're going to put a price freeze. We're not going to raise any prices for the next 6 months. Anything that we had in plan, they said they would roll back their price increases at least for the next 6 months. We'll see. Makes for an interesting news headline for now. What happens 6 months from now? We'll see what happens. Netflix about to break out to new highs as well. That stock was up about 0.75% today. Credit Suisse said that the company is basically free to take over the world. They said Netflix at this point will face unchallenged leadership in their respective markets here. And if you think about it, Apple kind of tried, right? Amazon is still trying, but Netflix, bottom line, they're dominating. I'd like to see them start buying up some of their smaller competitors. We'll see what happens there. Other news, JetBlue ordered 60 jets from Airbus. They also have the option to order 60 more. So that shows what they're thinking about their space. Tesla was a little bit higher today, just a little bit higher. If you want to buy a Tesla, you used to have to put a $1,000 deposit down for the Model 3. I don't know that because I did it. I know you had to do that. Tesla came out today and said, you know what, no more deposit. You don't have to put your deposit down to get on our waiting list. You're free to go. Come on over and buy the Tesla. So what do you think? You going to buy a Tesla today? Other sectors, materials, industrials, all sold off today. You know, it's those names like Boeing. Boeing down 1.8%, call it 2%. Caterpillar down 3%. It's those names that are fighting with this trade war that are the quickest to get hit. They have been the quickest to get hit. And so that's what continues to happen there. We'll take a look at a couple other things. Gold moving down towards lows. Gold continues to sell off very aggressively. Actually, if you go back to these highs back in April, if we take a look down here, oh, of course, I can't see it there. Let's try it again. You got gold down about 10% off of its highs. A lot of people are focused on that 1,200 an ounce number. So if you're thinking about buying gold, know that most traders, most long-term investors are sitting back going, yeah, how about 1,200? I'll take it at 1,200, but I'm not going to take it at 1,241. And so because of that, really no support there in the short term. Other things to happen today, semiconductors. Those sold off 2.75% today. Also trade tariff news, things like that. So a lot of that going on the day. That's basically it. We'll keep it really, really short today. The market's exhaling. So think of it that way. Exhales. You get the breathe in. You fully expect to breathe out at some point. Now, sometimes you catch your breath and you breathe out really hard and it's a little scary. Other times it's just a normal, like while you're sleeping, sort of breathing cycle. In and out, no problem right there. So that's it. Elliot, thanks for the Wine and Wealth yesterday. That was an open house for our customers if you wanted to check it out. What we normally do for our customers, we just put it out there to the public this time so you can get a feel for it. Lots of cool classes coming up. I'm really, I get excited to do those classes, so I spend a lot of time on those. Do you read The Economist? No, I read the stock market. I always look at the charts, man. Henry, you loved it. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I love it. If oil goes down, airlines will rise. Well, what do you think? That's a good thing to take a look at. Oil was down today, of course. Let's take a look back over here. There you go. So you got oil down on the day, but that's only one day. We've spent this whole time with prices increasing. Remember, airlines don't work day by day. They're betting and they're using futures, oil futures, to sort of contain their cost. But at some point, if the uptrend is long enough, those futures expire and they do not roll them over and pay the extra money to roll them over. So at some point, they start eating that cost. And that's really what American Airlines was coming out and saying today. It is beyond the point where they're going to be able to offset those costs using derivatives. They mean futures. And so stock was down 8% on the day. That's a solid push lower. Not only that, when you look at it, if you ever look at candlesticks, the stock sold off at the start of the day, started selling, and look what happened. It closed very near the low of the day. What that tells you is that's just constant selling pressure all day. That's not me and you saying, I'd like to get out of the stock. That's institutions. That's the mutual fund saying, we're going to readjust our portfolio, and all that selling pressure builds throughout the day. There was very little sign of buying in the airline stocks today. So you give them a pass for now. We'll see what happens, but 40% discount on that American Airlines if you like that sort of thing. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up there. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. You say, Dustin, where's the market correction that people keep saying we'll do for the last couple of years? I think it's going to start after the summertime. I mean, in my opinion, I think the second half of the year will be a rough second half of the year if you're participating in it, but as far as correction, I'm not one to call a correction just yet. I think it'll just be a little rough, right? We'll see some more volatility come back, which, by the way, volatility sitting very near its recent lows, so pretty cool there. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up there. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. If you're thinking about us at Jazz Wealth, check us out. Check out our portfolios. We got them on our website. We update them every Saturday afternoon now so that we can get the full weeks of data built into them. And of course, we update our customers once a month with a short video on all the changes we made, anything that we did different there for the portfolios. So hope you enjoy. Leave me a comment though on the thing earlier. What do you think? We'll see. See you guys.